Hi, I'm Stephanie Daniel, host of the Colorado Dream podcast from KUNC. The Black immigrant population in Colorado is growing faster than anywhere else in the U.S. They come from Africa, the Caribbean, and beyond. And many settle in Aurora, where about 1 in 5 residents is foreign-born. Their experiences were the foundation of this season of the podcast called Newcomers Welcome. While reporting this series, I spoke to immigrants and refugees from countries like Liberia, Kenya, and Nigeria, where a lot of people are Black like them. I became curious how they felt living here in Colorado and in a country where discrimination and violence based upon a person's skin color is systemic. A crucial question came up. Do they see themselves as Black immigrants, Black Americans, or somewhere in between? I covered this issue in depth in the episode titled Identity. One of the themes I explored was the relationship between Africans and African Americans, and how they can come together for the collective good. Pan-Africanism is a worldwide movement that calls for the unity of African people, whether they live on the continent, in the Americas, Caribbean, or Europe. The belief is that they share a common history and a common destiny. These ideas are a foundation for the Center for African and African American Studies at the University of Colorado Boulder. Professor Rayland Rabaka is the founder and director.
I'm actually here to focus more on cooperation as opposed to conflict. I think that's the easiest thing in the world to do, is to talk about how divided, divide and conquered Black people are, but to actually talk about the unification and the liberation of Black folk, both on the continent and in the diaspora, those of us off the continent. That's a very rare conversation to be happening today.
The Center for African and African American Studies, also known as the CAAAS, celebrated its official grand opening on February 1st, 2023. The CAAAS was created in 2021 as a place to research, promote, and preserve knowledge about the histories of the Black diaspora, or Black people around the world. Soon after the event, KUNC's Mike Lyle spoke with Rayland, who is also a professor of African, African American, and Caribbean Studies at CU Boulder.
Rayland, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Talk about how fitting that the CAAAS opens during Black History Month, as it shows the contributions that African Americans have in making sure others understand the culture.
Well, I have been serving on the faculty of the University of Colorado Boulder since 2005, and I'm sad to say I cannot think of a campus-wide, a university-wide Black History Month celebration at the University of Colorado Boulder in the last nearly 20 years that I've been here. So I purposely wanted to have the grand opening of the Center for African and African American Studies on the first day of February, which is Black History Month, as you know. And typically I'm around the nation. So I've been going around to other public universities for years and years, helping them celebrate Black History Month at university-wide or campus-wide celebrations. And I wanted to bring some of that home. I wanted to bring that to Boulder, Colorado. And as you can see, we definitely did that this year.
So what went into the creation of the CAAAS, and whose idea was it?
I was a bit shocked when I came here in 2005, and there wasn't a center. There wasn't a space, a permanent space on the Boulder campus for Black students and to share and showcase Black culture. So that's an idea that I brought with me from Los Angeles when I came here in 2005, and it has taken me nearly 20 years to really sort of get the funding for it and generate some traction, some real interest and commitment to creating a center like this.
Now, given what has taken place in America over the last few years with the social justice issues and recent events such as the death of Tyree Nichols at the hands of Memphis police officers, how important is it that the center is open now for those to research history and get a broader perspective on these issues?
I have been teaching a course on the Black Lives Matter movement for the last 5 years. And so this center actually grows out of that seminar on the Black Lives Matter movement. And my students actually started a petition for it. we got about 1,200 signatures. And at that time, there was only 800 black students on the whole Boulder campus. So you can already see that it's not just black folk, it's not just black students, black professors that want this center. We also have some allies here in the Rocky Mountain region.
Shifting gears here for a second, new CU football head coach Deion Sanders was among those at the grand opening. Given his background and where he came from, which is Jackson State University, a historically black institution in Mississippi, what's it like to have him taking in everything the center has to offer?
It's really incredible. Coach Prime is phenomenal, to be honest with you, a real motivator, somebody that can really sort of take CU to the next level, brings a higher profile to our athletics department. And so one of the things that Coach Prime and I talked about was that he takes care of the athletics and I'm going to take care of the academics, right? And so this center is part of this whole new era at the University of Colorado Boulder, where we want to make sure that we have first rate, right, world-class academics and athletics. We want to sort of raise the profile. And again, a lot of good work has been going on, and Coach Prime acknowledges this. A lot of great work has been going on here already. This is about taking it to the next level, and what an incredible time to do it. Black History Month, February 2023.
What long-term effects do you think the cause will have among the student body on campus?
I want to make sure that we can create students that we can send out to society, and that they're really going to make contributions to the broader nation, to the broader culture. This is their sort of ground zero. This is their launching pad for them to go out there in the world and change it.
So how does it make you feel to see the unity on the campus for something of this nature?
It's one of the crowning achievements, I think, of my career, to be honest with you. You can also see that I titled the Center for African and African American Studies. What I wanted to do was make sure that it's a Pan-African center, that even though we're in North America, and even though obviously it's African Americans who really sort of laid the foundation upon which we are standing and building today, folks like Charles Dunbar Campbell, the first African American male to graduate from CU Boulder in 1912, folks like Lucille Berkeley Buchanan, the first African American woman to graduate from CU Boulder in 1918. It's those ancestors, those intellectual ancestors, that I really want to make sure that we invoke, that we raise up and revere and honor, that we let them know that whatever cultural alienation and isolation they experienced on the CU Boulder campus, it was not in vain. So as you can see, over 100 years later, finally, we have a permanent space on the Boulder campus to make sure that black students have a home away from home, if you will, on the campus. And they're constantly coming through, 5 days a week. They are in that center doing their homework, developing programming. In fact, they had an open mic, which they call Black America's Got Talent, sponsored by the Black Student Alliance. Black America's Got Talent, open mic night, and we had a good turnout for that.
Raylan Rabaka serves as the center's director and is also a professor of African American, and Caribbean Studies at CU Boulder. Raylan, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you now. Take care.
That is KUNC's Mike Lyle, speaking with Professor Rayland Rabaka. Rayland is the director of the Center for African and African American Studies at CU Boulder. The CAAAS provides a space for Black people across the diaspora to learn about their shared history and each other's unique histories and cultures. The Colorado Dream Newcomers Welcome is a production from KUNC. This bonus episode was written and reported by me, Stephanie Daniel. Editing by Sean Corcoran. This season's theme song was composed by Jason Patton. Jennifer Coombs is the digital editor. To learn more about the Center for African and African American Studies and see photos, go to kunc.org/Colorado Dream or check out the show notes for a link.